Lesson 712, Decimal Number Stories. The focus of this lesson is for you to relate fractions and decimals to money, for you to be able to convert between fractions and decimals, for you to be able to solve number stories involving simple decimals, and for students to solve multi-step number stories with decimals. But first, let's start with our mental math and fluency. Write the equivalent decimal. So 36 hundredths. That means that when you write the number 36, the last number, the 6, should be in the hundredths place. So you should write that 0.36. 87 hundredths, again, 87, the last number, the 7, should land in the hundredths place. So it's 0.87. And finally, 19 hundredths, the 9 has to land in the hundredths place. So it should be 0.19. Make sure, if you're struggling with this, trying to remember where the hundredths place is, that you look up at our board or over at our poster to help remind you what is an equivalent decimal to a fraction, or the other way around, what is the equivalent fraction for a decimal. So, what fraction of a dollar is 1 dime? So in other words, if you had 1 dime out of the number of dimes it takes to make a dollar, what would your fraction look like? Well, the 1 dime is telling you that's your numerator. And how many dimes does it take to make a dollar? It takes 10. So 1 dime is 1/10 of a dollar. What fraction of that same dollar is 1 penny? Well, again, I only have 1. That's my numerator. And how many pennies does it take to make a dollar? It takes 100. So what fraction of a dollar is 1 penny? 1/100th. What fraction of a dollar is 7 dimes? Well, I know 7 dimes is 70 cents. And 8 pennies, well, that's 8 cents. That's going to give me a total of 78 cents. So write your answer as a fraction and a decimal. Well, I have 78 cents out of a possible 100, because it takes 100 cents to make that dollar. So how do I write 78 hundredths? Well, I don't have any holes. I have my decimal, and if I write 78, my last number 8 is in the hundredth spot, so I know that I have 78 hundredths correct if I write it 0.78. For these next problems, you're going to need to go to the file and get out Math Masters pages TA57 and TA58, and then answer the questions. What is the cost of a ballpoint pen, according to the information on those pages? So pause the recording now and get those pages out and make sure that you can answer these and you're looking at the same information as I am. So what was the cost of that ballpoint pen? You should have noticed that it's 39 cents. Notice I put a 0 where the dollars spot is because it doesn't cost over $1. It costs less than $1. So I put a 0 in the ones place. 39 cents means out of that 100 cents that it takes to make that dollar, I'm only using 39 of it. So I'm going to use 39 hundredths. What fraction of a dollar is that? Well, it's 39 out of 100. Remember, 0.39 equals 39 hundredths, which equals 39 hundredths. So what is the cost of a pen if you buy 5 more? Well, if you're looking at your information, it says it'll cost 27 cents. So what fraction of a dollar is that? Well, you're using up 27 cents out of 100. So once again, remember that 27 hundredths equals 27 over 100, which is 27 hundredths. So how much do you save per pen by buying pens in bulk? Well, you should have saw that it cost 39 cents for one, but if you bought 5 or more, it was 27. So 39 minus 27 is 12 cents per pen you would save. 12 hundredths equals 12 out of 100, which is 12 hundredths. So, what if I said, how much change would you receive if you bought 5 bars of soap at the stock up sale price and paid with a $5 bill? Well, you would have to figure out 5 times 65 hundredths, because that's what 65 cents is, which equals, again, 5 times 65 over 100, which I know will give me 325 hundredths. Again, I apologize for my handwriting not being much neater. Which equals 3 wholes, because I can get 100 out of 100, that's once. Another 100 out of 100, that's 200. Another 100 out of 100, that's 300. So I got 3 wholes, and I got 25 hundredths left over. So if I paid that with a $5 bill, I'd have $1.75 left over. $3.25 minus $5 will give me $1.75. $1.75 equals 1 whole and 75 hundredths. And notice how I write that. 1 and 75 hundredths. For the next problem, I want you to get out Math Journal page 261, and this is an assessment check. It says, use the stock up sale posters to solve the number stories and show how you solve the problem. So Jeff bought 5 toothbrushes and 1 tube of paste. What was the total cost? Pause the recording now and do this problem number 1. Math problem 2 says, Mr. De La Garza pays for 8 boxes of tissues with a $5 bill. How much change does he get? So first you're going to have to figure out how much it will cost for 8 boxes of tissues and subtract that amount from a $5 bill to figure out the change that he gets. Pause the recording now and finish number 2. Remember, both of these are assessment checks, so you have to bring it up to me to check. After I've checked your ACIs, your assessment check-ins, I want you to do Math Journal page 263. This is the first math box, and it says, there are 125 rose bushes to be divided equally into crates, each holding 5. There are 96 shrubs to be divided equally into crates, each holding 3. How many more crates will need to be needed for the shrubs than for the rose bushes? So first, you're going to need to figure out how many for the rose bushes, which you'll be dividing these two numbers. Then you'll have to figure out how many for the shrubs. You'll be dividing these two numbers. Then with those two answers, you're going to be subtracting to find out how many more crates will be needed for the shrubs than the rose bushes. Pause the recording now and do Math Journal page 263, Math Box 1. Math Box 2 says, Pedro went to the mall with some friends. He walked 3/8 of a mile to Jesse's house and then 2/8 mile to pick up Troy. And then they walked about another 1/8 mile to the mall. How far did Pedro walk altogether? Circle all the correct answers. Math Box 3 is having you divide. Use whichever method you would like. Math Box 4 is having you multiply. Again, use any method you would like. And number 5 says explain how you solved problem 3B. Please use words to describe how you did it. When you finish with this page, pause the recording and make sure that you check it in the Math Journal answer key and come up to me if you have any questions. You need to go get Math Masters page 289 out of the file folder. This page needs to be completed, brought up to me so that I can check it for you. And then your final assessment for this lesson is for you to do Math Journal page 262. Once you complete those, show them both to me, you will be done with lesson 712.